Hello everybody, and yep, this is it. This is the last part of this gameplay and review episode. And of course, you know that I did 4 Famicom games. And they were all at random because I had never played them. And they are available through Nintendo Switch Online's service. And if you are capable, you can play them all, like I just did. And of course, next week, I'm going to be doing either 4 or even 5 random Famicom Disk System games. So, you'll be seeing that next time. But for right now, it's time to get to the review of every single game that I did for this episode. Usually I do 1 game per episode, but not this time. I decided to do 4 because I'm way off track, because the thing about it is I didn't do a gameplay review episode in June or July. So as a result, I'm trying to get back on track. So as a result, I decided to do 4 random Famicom games. And this, of course, was the first one that I did. That is right, I did Darva, or I think it's called Darva or Dava or whatever. It's called Dava Story 6, and of course it was released for the Famicom. And now that I've played it, now it's time to give you my thoughts on the game. Well, I didn't expect it to be a shooter. I really didn't. Where you have a map screen. And it has certain perspectives. First off, you have this one screen where you have like a map, and you travel to certain places that you need to beat. And then of course, once you travel to one spot, you go into a battle, and you face off against enemies, and then of course there'll be a boss at the end. And of course, if you beat that boss, you go on to the next spot. But of course, if you lose, you have to start all over. And that's pretty much the game. And there's one thing that I did not know until I watched Crontendo. This is after I did my gameplay. I checked out Crontendo's review of this game, and of course, I found out that those particular things that you see on the screen, you set them up to which spots that you want to put them in. They have, I thought they were ships at first. So as a result, I did not know. I really didn't know that these were particular things that you need to put on the screen for later. So if you wanted to refill your health, you had to put it in a certain spot and travel to that certain spot to get the health. I had no idea at the time that I was playing the game that the health could be put at a certain place. So that's a pretty cool aspect, but I had no idea at the time because I was playing it for the very first time. I found out through Crontendo's video about the game. Now I will say, here's my by the way, this is my thoughts on the game. Well, I thought the game was okay at best. I didn't think it was all that great. But there are certain things that I liked about it. Surprisingly enough, after I found out that one particular thing, I thought that was a pretty cool feature. I had no idea at the time that you had to set up certain places to get certain things, and to get your health at a certain spot when you really need it, you have to put it in a certain place. I had no idea at the time. And the graphics are actually pretty good, honestly. I didn't have a problem with the graphics at all. And I thought the music, was good. Now, there is one aspect that I think could have been a lot better, and that is the controls. The controls with moving the ship to the certain point that you want to go to. Because at times I was moving fast or even slow. And that was a problem with the controls when I was trying to move to a certain spot. And that's because there's two aspects. There's, of course, the map with the ship that you're moving to a certain place. I'm talking about that aspect of the controls, because the thing about it is I was having a problem with the ship. It was either moving fast or slow or whatever or not, and I needed to go to a certain spot. So the controls were a problem with that portion of the gameplay. The other portion was fine. The controls on the other portion where you were beating enemies and whatever or not, and beating the boss, was fine. I thought the controls on that particular part of the gameplay was fine. I really enjoyed that. I was fine with that. But of course, I didn't find the gameplay that interesting. I thought it was okay. I thought the game was okay. So as a result, I'm giving Darba a yellow card. Next off was Ninja Jaja Maru-kun. And this particular game had simple gameplay, and all it was is that you're breaking certain parts of the platforms just to get to a higher platform, and you are beating enemies, and every single time you beat all the enemies, you go to the next stage. And that was pretty much the gameplay in a nutshell. You're beating enemies, breaking platforms to get to higher platforms, and that was pretty much the game. Did I enjoy Ninja Jaja Maru-kun? I hope I'm pronouncing. Yeah, Ninja Jaja Maru-kun. Did I enjoy that game? Yes, I did, but it did have one flaw, and that is with jumping to certain platforms. Sometimes I would get stuck as a result of it. Trying to get up a platform, sometimes it wouldn't register. That's the biggest problem that I had with the game, is that when you jump higher to get to another platform, sometimes it feels like you are hitting a platform when the platform wasn't there. That was the biggest problem that I had with the game. Besides that, the gameplay was fine. I thought the controls were pretty good, the graphics were good, and the music was good. I thought every single thing about it, with the exception of that one particular thing where you're hitting essentially an invisible platform. Besides that, I was fine with the game. I had fun with the game. I had no problems with the game with the exception of that. Hitting an invisible platform in which you should be climbing up or jumping up to the platform that you want to go to, instead of hitting an invisible platform that prevents you. That was my only real gripe with the game. Everything else about the game was fun. So as a result of that, I'm giving Ninja Jaja Maru-kun a green card. Next was Babel, or the Tower of Babel, or Mystery Tower, as it is called when you play the game on the Nintendo Switch Online service through the NES app. And this game was a puzzle game, and the object is to get to the exit and do it with a certain amount of moves. But of course, there's also enemies in the later stages, and they are a one-hit kill. So you have to avoid enemies and also get to the exit within amount of moves. Power counts as your moves, and every single time you make a move with one of the pieces that are on the screen, the power goes down, and once the power goes down to 0, you lose a life. You also lose a life if you press the select button. The select button as the kill button. That's just in case if you mess up at any time. And that's how the game goes. Well, there was one big problem with the game, and that is with the pieces. The pieces are hard to put at the place that you want to put them in. And as a result, it takes time for you to get them in the spot that you really want them in. So that was the biggest problem that I had. And it kept me from enjoying the game even further. But I will say, I didn't think the game was that bad. It does have its problems, especially with that one where you have to figure out where the pieces go, and you got to put the pieces at a certain place in order to get to the exit that you need to get to. And I thought that was okay. I really thought that was okay. It's not one of the best puzzle games that I've ever played, but it's not a bad one. It really isn't. It's just one of the weakest because of how it's set up. It wasn't bad though, I will say that. And I will say that if you like puzzle games, you might like this. You might. But remember, there is one big problem with the game, and you might not enjoy it as much as other puzzle games out there. But I will say that it's not a bad puzzle game. So I'm giving Babel, the Tower of Babel, or Mystery Tower, a yellow card. Now the final game that I did, of course, was Route 16 Turbo, and this is the only game that's not on the NES app through Nintendo Switch Online service. But of course, there is a way to play it, and if you have multiple, and I mean multiple users, and you have one that's set up for Japan, you'll be able to download the Famicom app and be able to play Route 16 Turbo. That's how I was able to play Route 16 Turbo. I logged in to another user, and it was a user that I created, and I put the location for Japan, and that's how I was able to get the Famicom app, or it's called the Family Computer app, but still I call it the Famicom app. And of course Route 16 Turbo was on it, and that's the only way you're going to find it. And I will tell you that the game is a racer, but it's not like racing games. It's basically you have to get objects in order to beat the level. You have to get certain things like money or items in order to complete the game without hitting a car or hitting something on the way. And you have fuel as well, and you can also speed up, and as long as you don't hit anything or whatever not, you are fine. And I was checking the title on my tablet here, and I found out that on Wikipedia, and you can thank Wikipedia for that, there is a glitch in the game. There is a programming bug, and if you get to level 9 and complete it, it does not recognize it. And that is the biggest problem with the game. That is the only problem that I have with the game, I guess, because the thing about it is I researched it, and I was kind of surprised that it had a programming bug in the game. And it does say, due to a programming bug, the Famicom version will never recognize that round 9, okay, they're called rounds, round 9 is completed, preventing players from going further without immolation. So you're going to need an emulator to do that. The good thing about the app is the fact that you can save state and whatever not. So I assume that will help you get round 9 completed and register that. So that's the one big plus. So the original Famicom version, it has a programming bug, and there is no way, if you're playing on original hardware, to get past round 9. So that's the only real problem with the game. But the good thing about this game, I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I didn't really have much of a problem with the controls, even though there were problems with controlling the car at times. But I didn't think that was a big issue. I liked the graphics and sound, and I thought the gameplay was really good. I didn't really have a problem with this game whatsoever. I don't think it's stellar, but I do think it's a good game. And if Route 16 Turbo was available for the NES app through Nintendo Switch's online service, I bet you people would have enjoyed it. So as a result, I'm giving Route 16 Turbo a green card. So that is it. That is all the games that I did for gameplay and review for this episode. And of course, all 4 of these games are available through Nintendo Switch's online service. Please note though that Route 16 Turbo is only available through the Famicom app. The rest of the games are available through the NES app. Now next time, I'm going to be doing Famicom Disk System games to continue on with the celebration of the 40th anniversary of the Famicom. That is right, I'm doing Famicom Disk System games next time. There's one particular game that I've been wanting to get to since last year, and for whatever reason I didn't get to it. I played the first game in the series and the last game in the series. I played the last game in the series as the very last episode for 2021 for gameplay and review. I did the first game last year. I hope this doesn't become a trend. But it might, where I'm ending up doing one game every single year. But I'm thinking about doing 2 games this year. The game that I've been wanting to do will be next time, along with either 3 or 4 other Famicom Disk System games. I just haven't decided which Famicom Disk System games I'm going to do. You'll have to find out next time. As for the cards that I gave these games, I gave out 2 green cards and 2 yellow cards. That's not bad. That really isn't. I didn't give out a single red card because I feel that all of these games are well worth playing. I just felt that some of the games were just okay at best. But I will say they deserved to be playable through Nintendo Switch's online service. No doubt about it. So check out those games. Check out Babel. Check out Ninja Jaja Marukun. I hope I'm saying that right. Check out Route 16 Turbo. And check out Darva. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, I do apologize. Check out all 4 of those games. They are available right now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time for another episode. I'm going to be doing 4 or 5 Famicom Disk System games next time. All in one episode, like I did with this. So, I will see you next time, everybody. Stay safe and stay awesome, and happy gaming.